Each person will trade short-term pain for instant gratification. We don't need to explain why people overdose on cocaine. We don't need to explain why people overdose on weed. We don't need to explain why people overuse these substances because it surges their dopamine level, ultimately increasing the peak instantly. There was a research conducted in 1960 called the marshmallow test. Researchers would hand out a marshmallow to a child and would ask a question: would you rather have this marshmallow now or get two tomorrow? 70% of the children would indulge in this activity almost immediately. The craziest thing is that those researchers followed these children for 40 years of their life, and the people who delayed gratification turned out to be more successful, more intelligent, and more reputable in the society, while those children who head in the opposite direction were failures. Either they ended in jail, crackhead, or working a 9 to 5. We have this flawed belief that our decisions today are inconsequential to the outcome of our future. I look at it as from a building perspective. I always use this building analogy. If I walk to the summit of this building, we are 2 feet high, 2 stories high, and I jump, chances are excellent that I would fall. So the consequence of my decision is falling, and it's from this analogy you would be able to infer that your consequences are already pre-programmed. It's not as though falling suddenly emerges when I make that jump. I've not made the decision, but we already know the consequence that honors that action. So therein, my friend, every decision has consequences, and the consequence has already been pre-programmed. These are inevitable cosmic laws. Even though you travel to a far distant land, they will find you with exact precision and met out judgments. When I was in college, I abstained from parties, smoking, drinking, and I would be ridiculed constantly. I would be pushed around. They would say he thinks he's better than us. Oh, you're studying now. Imagine while everyone is partying. Imagine while everyone's having fun. Imagine while everyone is destroying their youth all in the name of having fun. There's this one guy who's always studying, always reading, not reading to pass an exam, but studying the financial market, increasing his communication skills, ultimately portraying a degree of competence when he's ready to attract investors. I spent my youth learning the financial market, how to play the stock market, learning how money works, and it has ultimately translated now into thousands and thousands of dollars. So I sacrificed my today for better tomorrow, and I'm still making constant sacrifice. It's not as though I platooned in this level and remained and stopped working and start living off my yesterday's sacrifice. If I do that, then the decision I make today would have dire consequence in the future. So this game is a never-ending game. It's an infinite loop of sacrifices, but sacrifices at a different level, which I do not want to go into. Majority of you watching this at this juncture would say, oh, I don't know how to distinguish, or would pretend rather to say, I don't know how to distinguish a good decision from a bad one. Here is it. Here is the key. And it's very simple. If your decision that you're about to make gives you immediate gratification, then don't do it. Majority of you are smart and you know this to be true. Yes, why don't you do it? Because it takes courage. It takes courage to not click on that website. It takes courage to stop thirst trapping. It takes courage to drop your phone and crack open a book. It takes courage to avoid those parties. It takes courage to walk alone. It takes courage to abstain from those friends who watch all what you guys